Lately, Azerbaijan, Turkey, and the countries that support them have been demanding that Armenia implement UN Resolutions 822, 853, 874, and 884 and withdraw its soldiers from Artsakh, which they call Karabakh, in order to end the war that they started a month ago on September 27 of this year. Let us analyze these resolutions to see what they demand. Security Council Resolution 822 of April 1993 demands four things. Number one, the cessation of hostilities and the establishment of a durable ceasefire. Two, negotiations for resolving the conflict be undertaken by the Conference on Security and Cooperation in Europe that established the Minsk Group comprising Russia, France, and the United States to find ways to bridge the gap between the two combatants. Three, calls for unimpeded access for international relief efforts in the region. And number four, calls for the withdrawal of occupying forces. The Armenian self-defense forces in Artsakh cannot be considered foreign occupiers because Armenians have lived there for over 3,000 years. The present country of Azerbaijan came to existence in the 1800s as a result of the Russo-Turkish Wars. If you consult history books that are older than 250 years, you will never find a country named Azerbaijan mentioned in them. Resolution 853 of July 1993 reiterates the same demands, so there is nothing new in it. Resolution 874 injects a new request, prohibiting the interference and intervention of other states that want to undermine the security in the region by widening the scope of the conflict. Turkey's active involvement in this conflict is a direct violation of this UN demand. Resolution 884 repeats the same elements of the previous resolutions and adds a new clause that condemns the repeated violations of the 1993 ceasefire agreement. Armenia has always requested that international monitors be stationed along its entire border with Azerbaijan to ascertain who the violator is. But Azerbaijan has adamantly refused to accept this offer. For the sake of justice and fairness, let us examine other countries' compliance or non-compliance with UN resolutions. Resolution 194 that was adopted by the UN General Assembly on December 11, 1948, called for the return of Palestinian refugees to their homes. The same demand was reaffirmed by the UN General Assembly Resolution 169 in 1980 and Security Council Resolution 237. Successive Israeli governments have rejected the implementation of these UN resolutions. UN Security Council Resolution 353, adopted unanimously in 1974 in response to the Turkish invasion of Cyprus, demanded the immediate withdrawal of all foreign military personnel from Cyprus. Subsequent UN resolutions 354, 541, and 550 in 1984 demanded the withdrawal of Turkish troops from the island. Turkey has consistently refused to comply with the UN resolutions and to this day retains 36,000 Turkish soldiers to enforce its illegal occupation of northern Cyprus. United Nations General Assembly Resolution 262 was adopted on March 27, 2014, demands that the Russian Federation withdraw its armed forces from Crimea and end its occupation of Ukrainian territory without delay. Russia has made it clear that it will never accept the UN resolution. On December 27, 2019, the UN Security Council voted in favor of Resolution 47, demanding that Myanmar, formerly known as Burma, allow the Rohingya Muslim refugees in Bangladesh to return to their homes. The government of Myanmar has refused to comply. So, if Israel, Turkey, Russia, and Myanmar cannot be forced to accept UN resolutions that are contrary to their national interests, why should Armenians be compelled to implement UN resolutions that are not only unjust and one-sided, but pose a serious threat to the survival of the Armenian state? The aim of Azerbaijan, Turkey, and their jihadist mercenaries is not only to conquer Karabakh, but to wipe out Armenia off the map of the world. The deep-seated anti-Armenian hatred and the vitriolic rhetoric of Aliyev and Erdogan prove this. The US-based Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International have reported that Azerbaijan executed Armenian prisoners of war after beating and humiliating them. At least 2 Armenian prisoners of war were beheaded. Beheading is the hallmark of Daesh. In sharp contrast, Azerbaijani prisoners of war in Armenia are given 3 meals a day and are receiving adequate medical treatment at Armenian hospitals. Armenians have never insulted the Azerbaijani prisoners of war and have never attempted to strip them of their personal dignity. In the Hadrut region, the Azerbaijani soldiers entered a house where they found an Armenian mother and her disabled son. They were both shot to death at point-blank range, and then their bodies were disfigured and mutilated. If these savages break through the Armenian defenses, God forbid, the world will witness a second Turkish-sponsored genocide of the Armenian people, similar to the one that happened 105 years ago. On June 16, 2020, the Jerusalem Post newspaper reported that the General Staff of the Turkish Army has developed a secret contingency plan to invade Armenia and Greece. It looks like we are now witnessing the unfolding of this diabolical plan, with the Turkish special forces participating in the Azerbaijani invasion of the Armenian province of Artsakh. Furthermore, Turkey has been provoking Greece in the eastern Mediterranean by drilling for oil in Greek territorial waters. The Western countries must wake up and put an end to the expansionist plans of Erdogan, who wants to reconstitute the Ottoman Empire and revive the Islamic Caliphate in order to be acknowledged as the new leader of the Islamic world. Just a few months ago, the Turkish dictator Erdogan described the Armenians as the remnants of the Turkish sword, and then added, "We must continue the mission that our forefathers started." The following is a direct quotation from Genocide Watch, reported by a prominent Turkish journalist, Uzey Bulut. Mr. Bulut writes, "Leftover of the sword is a commonly used insult in Turkey that often refers to the survivors of the Christian massacres that mainly targeted Armenians, Greeks, and Assyrians in the Ottoman Empire and its successor Turkey. The use of leftovers of the sword, therefore, does not represent a denial of massacres or genocides. On the contrary, it declares the pride of the perpetrators. It means, yes, we slaughtered Christians and other non-Muslims because they deserved it. Peace-loving nations of the civilized world, do not remain silent spectators to the Turkish assault on tiny Armenia. Be on the right side of history. Support the underdog. Uphold the cause of justice and truth in this war that was meticulously planned by the Turks, who are directing all the military operations of Azerbaijan. You can prevent genocidal massacres from happening again by urging your government officials to place a total embargo on the sale of arms to Azerbaijan and Turkey. Act now before it's too late.